They say the kingdom, it's a-coming. They tell me the kingdom isn't near. But the greatest news that I've heard yet is that the kingdom's already here. They say the Savior, he's awaiting. Oh, the happy day when we meet. But if I am his and he is mine, then I've already found a seat. The veil's already torn in two. Heaven's waiting on me and you. You know we have an open door to that place, the light of his face. I wanna go there, wanna be known there in that place, the light of his face. Wanna be in him before I'm with him in that place. I got an anchor to the Father. I got a spirit for a sign and shield. So the dark days now just can't compare with the glory that will be revealed. So let your vision take you higher, so the eyes of your heart would know. Let Christ in you, the hope of glory, fill you till you overflow. The veil's already torn in two. Heaven's waiting on me and you. You know we have an open door to that place, the light of his face. I wanna go there, wanna be known there in that place, the light of his face. Wanna be in him before I'm with him in that place. The veil's already torn in two. Heaven's waiting on me and you. You know we have an open door. The veil's already torn in two. Heaven's waiting on me and you. You know we have an open door to that place, the light of his face. I wanna go there, wanna be known there in that place, the light of his face. Wanna be in him before I'm with him in that place. Oh, the light of his face. I wanna go there, wanna be known there in that place, the light of his face. Wanna be in him before I'm with him in that place. Hey, thanks for listening, and stay tuned because the story behind the song is next. Welcome to Blueprint Sounds. My name is Nathan Smith. Thanks for joining me. Today I wanted to share with you my song, That Place, as well as the story behind the song. But first, I want to give you something. If you go to my website, blueprintsounds.com, you can get access to my free guide called 25 Chart-Topping Arrangement Tricks. If you're a worship leader or part of a worship team, and you have a song that you've been working on that is good, but you wish it could be better, download this free chart. It gives you 25 great ideas for ways to make your arrangement more interesting. It gives you a couple sentences about why that trick works, and then it gives you a song from the radio so that you can hear the trick in action. Again, go to my website or click on the link nearby, blueprintsounds.com/25 tricks. All right, let's talk about That Place. So unlike some of my other songs that are pretty straight ahead in their chords, this one has a big jazz influence, and so a lot of the chords are a little bit different than you would normally see in a worship set. So I wanted to walk you through that as well as my process of getting there. So let's start with the chorus. The chorus has an A major chord. Nothing crazy there, but that second chord, that one's kind of fun. That is, there's a couple ways to think of it, but it's an E sus4 over C sharp. So the idea was that that I have this interesting bass line. There's the A, there's the C sharp, which will eventually lead to the D. So the chord, all three of the chords are A, E sus4 over C sharp, which is quite pretty, and then the A over D, right? So that existing chord progression, I had that years and years ago. I was, fiddling around and had something like that, and wrote a song based on that basic chord progression. But lyrically, it wasn't as strong, and so I shelved it, and left that for a while. But then I came back to this chord progression. How else could I? Because I just loved that chord too much to leave it alone. And thought, well, what else could I do? And so started to have the idea for that place. And it seemed like it needed one more interesting turn, and so that's where this D minor 6 came from at the end. To take your major chord and turn it into a minor chord. So it ends up sounding like this: A major, E sus4 over C sharp, A over D, D minor 6. Pretty interesting. But here's a couple tips for you as a songwriter. One is that I find that new songs sometimes come from new, what I call technological breakthroughs. So that new chord sent me off in a completely new direction. And that was, of course, years ago. But having that, it can just sometimes be one new chord that will throw you in a new spot. So that means learn new styles. If you feel like you've plateaued and you're kind of, I'm just doing my same thing and nothing feels new, all it could take is one new chord. For me, what I went to was jazz. So I learned jazz when I was young, before I even knew what it was. My dad, when he got me guitar lessons, he took me into the room where Tom, my guitar teacher, was the first day, and he said he wants to learn how to read music and he wants to learn jazz. And I had no idea what either of those two really were. But I'm so glad that my dad did that, because it gave me a bigger vocabulary to be able to do stuff like this. There's a lot of trial and error, and jazz isn't an easy thing to understand immediately. So it takes some time. But after a while, you find that it influences other musical genres. A lot of people liken jazz to weightlifting. No matter what sport you're doing, weightlifting can probably help. No matter what genre you're playing, jazz can probably help. So that would be my first advice to you as a songwriter, is to go wide in your different styles that you play. If you're just a hip-hop guy, or if you're just into country, or if you're just into folk, or just into worship music, it's time to break out of that. But the second tip for you songwriters is that oftentimes your good ideas will be partial good ideas, and they will lead to something cooler later on. Again, I said that I had this chord progression for a long time, but I wrote a song based on that progression that was okay, but it lyrically was not as strong. Well, that became the song graveyard, which every good songwriter has a big song graveyard. And oftentimes your best songs are built on the bones of your failures. So that old song, I no longer play, I no longer worry about, but what I got out of it was this gem. Aha! Right? That cool chord came in handy years and years later. So remember, you as a songwriter are going to do a lot of growing. You're going to take a stab at something, whether it's lyrically or chordally. Come back to your old stuff and keep growing, and don't give up. The third tip is for you songwriters to vary your chords. So here's what I mean. Here's my A down here where I start the song. And then I've got a little riff. So that basic A chord, we all know that one. But for the chorus, I needed a different A chord. Got a little bit higher register, and it's got a different note up top. Well, if you just play down here, you're not going to get that variation from chorus to verse. So mastering your instrument and having different chords of the same kind, but in different places on the neck, will keep your different sections interesting, right? I have an A like this on the verse, but I have an A like this on the chorus, and it has a totally different feel because I'm putting different chords around it. My fourth tip is that you need to give your audience more. So what I mean by that is I could just play the changes and be totally fine. I could do the intro like this. Those are my basic chords, A, D, E, and A. But I wanted my intro to be memorable. I wanted it to be an actual intro that would keep people's attention while I wasn't singing, so I added a little flourish. That thing, and then that little arrangement thing took more time, but it ends up helping so much to keep your audience interested all the way through the song. The best analogy I've ever heard is someone said, a song is like pulling a thread. If you pull the thread all the way through and it never breaks, people are always interested you've written a good song and you've arranged a good song. It's not just lyrically, it's also, what are you doing with your instrument? But if it breaks at any time, then you've got to go figure out why that did that. All right, so another thing that I add is in between my first chorus and going back to the verse, would have been fine to just play the changes, but I decided to add a fill. So I go. Just that little slide there was a fun thing to add. I got an anchor, all right, to get me back to the verse. So I'm picking different parts. If I was doing this with a band, maybe I would parse that out and say, hey, why don't you, piano player, do that little thing? Or, I'm acting like I've got a band. And the cool thing is that if you can do those parts, if you can get good enough on your instrument to where you can throw those out, it gives the illusion that there is more than one instrument. So it's like you're playing with your band, between your bass player with your thumb and then the top fingers hitting another little lick. You've got a whole band inside of this instrument, and people go with you in that illusion. Your audience is like, ooh, that's got so many layers and textures. They won't be able to say that. They don't know what is happening, but they sure can feel a difference between playing that as opposed to just playing the same old chords. So let's recap. My first tip for you as a songwriter would be to learn jazz or to learn another genre way outside of your own musical genre so that you can learn new chords and get a technological breakthrough, because that will throw your songwriting in a new direction. The third thing to remember is that some of your best songs are going to be built off the bones of your bad songs. So if you've written one that, kind of almost did it but didn't really do it, go back. You might find something interesting there. And the fourth thing is, performance-wise, give your audience more by trying to find something that's different for the intro or something that's different for a fill in between your chorus and your verse. Your audience will thank you, and you'll have more fun too. Hey, I hope that video helps you. And if you need help with your song arranging, go to blueprintsounds.com/25 tricks. Until next time, God bless and goodbye.